Hi, welcome to this STAIR Tailored. I'm Sarah Powell from the University of Texas at Austin. And right now we're focusing on comparing fractions with unlike denominators, and we're going to use the set model. Now the set model means that we can take any set of objects and use that set of objects to represent a fraction. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do this with the two-color counters. That's a really good manipulative to use if you're thinking about using the set model to compare these two fractions here. We're going to compare 3/8 to 1/4. So let's see what this looks like with manipulatives. So when I'm thinking about comparing 3/8 to 1/4, I always like to have the abstract form of my number here. And with the set model, I'm going to first show the fraction 3/8. So that means I'm going to set up a fraction with 8 equal parts. And I want to show, there's 8 equal parts, and I want to show 1, 2, 3 of those 8 equal parts. So I've showed the fraction 3/8. Now here I'm going to show the fraction 1/4. So I have a set, excuse me, that has 4 equal parts, and I'm going to show 1 of those 4 equal parts. Now with the set model, the tricky thing here is that right now each of these counters represents 1/8, and each of these counters represents 1/4. Because those counters do not have the same value, we cannot compare these fractions right now. So this is where it's very helpful to find common denominators. So I'm going to list out the multiples for a fraction with a denominator of 8. So here my first 5 multiples, 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. And my first 5 multiples with a fraction with a denominator of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Now my least common multiple, I like to circle it just like that, is 8. So here I have a fraction that has a denominator of 8. I don't need to do anything to 3/8. But here, the fraction with a denominator of 4, I want to figure out how to change this fraction from a denominator of 4 to a fraction with a denominator of 8. And I can do this a few different ways. I like to always talk with students about iteration. So I can take this fraction with a denominator of 4, and I can iterate it or copy it just one time. That'll get me to a fraction with a denominator of 8. So iteration means making a copy of the set, all right? So here it's very easy to see that 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8. And if I want to line this up and make this look all nice now, I will show 2/8 in this way. So now each of these counters, or each of these little circular discs, has a value of 1/8. So it's very easy for me to see that 3/8 is greater than 2/8. And remember, 2/8 was representing 1/4. So this is a way to use the set model combined with thinking about using our multiples to find the least common multiple to figure out how to compare fractions with the set model. So that was an example with the set model. I hope you'll tune into some other STAIR Tailoreds where you can see us use the area model and the length model to compare fractions.